Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, nothing like a good snowball fight, right? Except when it involves 500 guys going after cops. Did you see this crap? NYPD being pelted with snow by 500 punk kids in the park. I don't know. I mean, if I were a cop, I might have taken my gun out. At least fire a few shots in the air. They're whitewashing these guys. They're taking great big globs of snow and putting it in their face. These cops are heroes, by the way. They're pretty stoic. You shouldn't take out your gun, but I'd be tempted to. It's Washington Square Park. 500 punk kids. This is why we don't cancel school. Unbelievable. Cops are getting hit left, right, and center with snowballs. Snowball fight. It's one thing if you're going to have a snowball fight with your big brother or little sister. James Flippin, did you see that?
I did, yeah. Disgrace.
And guess what? It's not new. This crap has been going on against cops for years. Quite frankly, it really started first year de Blasio. I saw, maybe nobody remembers, the fake news covered it up. But cops were doused with huge canisters of water. Remember that? They were dumped with water over there?
Yeah, I do remember that.
This was because de Blasio ran, cops are overdoing with stop and frisk. He badmouthed the cops, right? He gained political power from badmouthing the cops. And guess what? That catches on. And we've had 3 anti-cop mayors now in a row. De Blasio, Adams, absolutely. He was so bad. I mean, he was so bad for so much of his career. He was always undermining the cops. Don't trust that guy. Oh, he was a police captain. He was a fake captain. And then, of course, Mamdani. Hey, you know who worked for all 3 of those guys? The police commissioner, Jessica Tisch. How about that one? And now she wants to say something. She puts out a pathetic tweet about, this is under investigation. Well, knock yourself out. You're going to investigate the past 10 years of anti-cop rhetoric that you turned a blind eye to? Jessica Tisch, you enjoying yourself with your, I don't know, what what do you get out of this job? Huh? You don't know how to do it. You feel like a big shot on the 14th floor? What is it? Never arrested a person in their life, and they're the police commissioner. Can you believe that one, James?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some people speculating that maybe she's kind of soft launching some of her mayoral aspirations with that tweet last night.
Speaking of which, I heard a hot rumor, get this, that she was about 5 minutes from endorsing Andrew Cuomo and, quitting and endorsing Andrew Cuomo. Now, you know what that would have taken? Guts and courage. But I don't think she has that stuff. I think she's motivated by power and look at me, look at me, Ivanka Trump. I made it too. I'm a star. The actual job, I can't believe it. Now, here's this. Let's see, more snow being thrown at cops and ICE agents. Cut 17, please. Cut 17, right in the same neighborhood. They're right in the middle of the street being hit by snowballs. Huh? What the hell? Leave those cops alone. Remember that, what was that? The Pink Floyd song? Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. That is, well, look, it's not a surprise to me. After the Obama, after everything that's been happening in this country, the delegitimization of law enforcement, that's where we are. Mm-hmm. And this is not a one-off, right? This is what cops go through now. The only time the left supported the cops, the establishment supported cops, quite frankly, is January 6th. Imagine that one. Anyway, so how are you, James Flippin? The snow, I hear now already there's snow coming back.
Yeah, there's snow in the forecast tomorrow, but it's also going to mix, I think, completely into rain, and there's a high of like in the low 40s, so maybe it's not going to be so bad. Maybe we actually get some melting out of it. I don't know.
What? Wait, maybe we get some melting out of it? Wait, what did you just say? The last part.
Maybe we get some melting out of it?
When is it going to snow again? It's going to snow again.
So you didn't listen to what I said?
Well, you were talking very fast. I'm sorry. I got a textual message right in the middle of it.
So you were distracted by your phone.
I got
you always admonish people for when that happens to them.
Well, it was a textual message, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
It was too hot to handle text. What can I tell you? Hey, you want to hear my tweet from today?
Sure.
I put out hey, where's that? Anybody have that sound of Gavin Newsom and that stupid thing he said the other day about his 960 SAT score? Do we have that laying around the house? He said something about, I only got a 960, so I can't read, just like all you black people here, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not exactly how he said it.
That's pretty much what he said. And the thing about it is, and I kind of cracked the code on this, apparently he was always a bad reader, right? He's a bad reader.
I've read he has dyslexia.
I mean, everybody's got a little bit of dyslexia. So he's illiterate. By the way, that was in front of the African Federation of Young Black Men. The African Federation of Young Black Men. It's a very famous organization. And he put that out there. What the hell kind of statement is that? Now, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to, look, here's what I put on Twitter. I put a picture of him next to Joe Biden, right? And they both have their fingers up in the air. Like real, they're taken with power. And this is what I wrote, and it's true. Oh, not doing that well on Twitter, though. No one's really. When stupid people get real power, they let their stupidity fly. At some point, they try to turn dumbness into a sympathy. Gavin being illiterate. Sleepy Joe having a stutter. Fake news, by the way. They're just not smart.
Mm. Yeah, it's a good observation because they definitely did that with Biden. And we'll see. That's going to be an impressive turn if the fake news is like, dummy Gavin Newsom. What a great presidential candidate. But
it's a fascinating thing to, campaign on, look, I only have mediocre, whatever. It's such a fallen and corrupt world.
Who do you think had the worst gaffe in that respect? Do you think that that's worse than Kathy Hochul saying black kids in Harlem don't know what computers are?
That probably, because she says it out loud.
It was so awful.
And that's how she feels.
Yeah.
There's the thing about liberals, it really is about identity before, content of the character. And I just, that's who they are. And, by the way, did you know that Joe Biden made up the whole thing with the stutter? He never stuttered. It was a thing that they made up when he was running for president in 1987 to make him appear deep, to make him appear as if he had some, struggles in his life. No, he had a cake life, mediocre guy, cake life. And that was just told to make him appear more interesting. All right, so school is back in session today. What are we going to do for the cops? It's not just on snow days, by the way. It's not just on snow days. They get disrespected all the time. Oh, this cumulative impact of all of the anti-cop rhetoric. And by the way, I see that there might be a racial component to this snowball fighting, right? Just maybe. Because everybody throwing the snow happens to be a person of color, young person of color, and the two cops getting it the worst happen to be two white guys. Cut 16, please. Cut 16. How long has Blue been working in radio, by the way? He's looking at. We played it a moment ago. Oh well, it's a bunch of yelling and screaming and all kinds of things like that. There we go. Terrible. bombarded by snowballs. Cops are taking it well. What would you do if you were a cop and this was happening to you?
Wow, that's a good question. I've often found myself very perplexed by that because, you got to keep it under control. I mean, they are being assaulted, right? I mean, that's technically
wait a second. If I throw a snowball at you outside of work, and heads up, that might happen, I'm not assaulting you.
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on if it was like an ice ball and it could cause injury. That could cause bodily harm.
A snowball, I don't think you could call it assault.
So I guess there's really nothing that they could do except what they did, right? They kind of went back to the police vehicle and...
I think what they have to do is come up with a new law, interference of police administration. And if that is, I don't know, they got to come up with
some.
There's got to be something because they're always. No, I don't know about that.
Peace or
Well, they're always they're always coming up to cops and they're always hassling them. And what's your badge number? What's this? What's that? And they're recording them and getting in the way. Mm-hmm. This is really inhibiting law enforcement and complicating it. And I think we have to stand up for them somehow because this can't happen anymore. And Jessica Tisch allowed it to happen. She's a crummy police commissioner and she's power mad. I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. Greg Kelly. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, we're back. James Flippin still bent out of shape about something. Can't make fun of that guy anymore. Can't make fun. Well, here he comes back. What is it?
Very sensitive.
Yeah, very sensitive, and it shows. Look at his sensitive outfit. Who the hell wears cream-colored pants and a cream-colored sweater? It doesn't look bad, but that is a very deliberate move. How are we going to support the cops? This is not an overnight fix because it didn't happen. It didn't happen overnight. This is a long time in the making. Did you see the video I put out about the cops in South Florida? By cops, I mean the FBI, the sheriff of Palm Beach County, and the Secret Service. They killed a guy who got onto Mar-a-Lago. I have no problem with killing the guy. I have a problem that he got onto Mar-a-Lago. It's unbelievably serious, and it looks to me that they were trying to basically downplay the whole thing, pretend it wasn't that big a deal, and, business as usual. Well, it shouldn't be business as usual. President Trump, this is the third assassination attempt on President Trump. I'll come back to that in a second. The cartels have lit Mexico on fire. You got to wonder about these cartels. I mean, really wonder. I found these crazy gore websites. I don't encourage anybody to go there. But there are some websites out there where you can look at like the pure, uncut, unedited videos that these cartels put out. And it's them enforcing discipline in the cartel, right? If you betray the cartel, if you talk to the cops, if you show up to work late, whatever the hell it is, I can't tell because it's all in Spanish. And I can't have my young daughter translate for me because she can't be looking at this stuff or hearing whatever the hell it is they're saying. It can't be good. I saw this. Oh, gosh, it's so bad. They had this one guy and, he did something wrong. He's sitting there without a shirt on, right? And what they did then, they cut off one arm and then they cut off another arm. And he's sitting there without arms, and then they shoot him in the head. So whatever he did, the message to the cartel is, don't be like this guy. And now El Mencho, is that his name? El Mencho is the head of the cartel, head of one of the cartels down there. And they're so angry that he's been captured or killed. I don't know what the hell happened to him, El Mencho. I know El Chapo. I don't know El Mencho. There was a $15 million bounty on his head by America. Anyway, they're so upset that El Mencho is no longer the head of the cartel that they're burning up Guadalajara. They're burning up Puerto Vallarta, which is where the Love Boat used to drop by for their little, 3 days, enjoy your time in Puerto Vallarta. I used to hate that part of the show, the Love Boat. It's like, you got to get off the ship. I'd rather stay on the ship. I even felt for them, the pressure that they probably felt to go around and look at, old churches or ruins or whatever the hell you got to do when you're on holiday in Mexico. So It's so bad what they're doing and what they've been doing to their people down there, cutting off heads, cutting off arms. I've seen it. I know it's happening. And some of this stuff is happening very, very, very close to the U.S. border. So Donald Trump, during term one, started making noise about, you know what, maybe we need our army to come to the rescue. He talked about this publicly. He tweeted about it. And then this son of a bitch, his Secretary of Defense at the time, by the name of Esper, E-S-P-E-R, a deep state snake, we'll call him, a deep state snake, Mark Esper.
Oh, I'm Mark Esper. I'm the Secretary of Defense. Mr. President, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. You only can do one of these three things, these three choices that we have come up for you, A, B, or C. That's what you can do. You can't come up with your own creative solution to the drug problem. Mark Esper wrote a book about President Trump, betrayed him in every way, tried to trip up and sabotage his administration and try to make it so that he wouldn't be reelected or elected in 2024. Secretary of Defense, my ass. Cut one, please. Cut one.
The President pulls me aside on at least a couple occasions and suggests that maybe we have the U.S. military shoot missiles into Mexico.
Shoot missiles into Mexico for what?
He would say to go after the cartels. And we would have this private discussion where I'd say, Mr. President, I understand the motive, because he was very serious about dealing with drugs in America. I get that. We all understand. But I had to explain to him, we can't do that. It would violate international law. It would be terrible for our neighbors to the south. It would, impact us in so many ways. Why don't we do this instead?
Why don't we do this instead, A, B, or C? We can't fire. First of all, he's not just talking about lobbing missiles into Mexico, just firing at our enemy. The bad guy, the terrorist. Law enforcement uses force here, right? We use force. Sometimes we use a lot of force domestically. We're offering to do this in cooperation with the government, okay? The government of Mexico. That's all right. That's more than all right. Cut three, if you don't mind. Cut three.
Trump wanted to bomb Mexico, our ally, our southern neighbor, in what would certainly be an act of war.
When Mr. Esper raised various objections, Mr. Trump said we could just shoot some Patriot missiles and take out the labs quietly, adding no one would know it was us. Mr. Trump said he would just say the United States had not.
That's Mika Brzezinski, by the way. Hey, should we go to Utah? If we can, possibly. I'd like to turn up the Fox. We have breaking news. The killer of Charlie Kirk, Tyler was his name, right? Tyler Robinson, the guy who was in love with his transgender boyfriend. So there's a push to get the prosecutors off the case because the prosecutor's son actually attended the event where Charlie Kirk was shot. I don't think that's a problem. I mean, it's not.
Notice of motion.
I don't think it's the problem at all. Go ahead.
Next, granting news media's motion for attorneys' eyes only access to closure motions. And finally, amended standing order, which addresses procedures to classify.
This judge has three computers in front of him. Three.
Next, let's turn to the ruling and order on defendant's motion to disqualify Utah County Attorney's Office. The court appreciates the patience of all parties with respect to this motion. The court has taken the necessary time to carefully review the motions submitted,
and
consider the evidence presented, and the arguments made by counsel. And the court now reads its ruling, which will be made available and posted later today.
Come on.
Before the court is defendant's motion to disqualify Utah County Attorney's Office. Defendant argues that high-level prosecutor assigned to this case has a concurrent conflict of interest.
I just said that.
And because no efforts were made to screen him, the entire office should be disqualified. Because defendant has not established a factual basis for a finding of conflict of interest.
Ain't gonna work.
Or an objective appearance of impropriety rising to a constitutional concern, his motion is respectfully denied.
Oh, respectfully, my ass. Why are they kissing the ass of this defendant? What the is respectfully denied? Oh, gosh. You know what this guy is? You know what he is? Lance Ito all over again. Remember Judge Ito in the O.J. Simpson case? The case was too big for him. The case is too big for this guy. Since when does a judge have 1, 2, 3 great big computer screens? And then, he's reading from a piece of paper. Anyway, the important thing is that the prosecutor is going to stay the same prosecutors. I guess one of the reasons why every little damn thing is being so belabored in this is because, there's a death penalty case, right? Somebody's going to be put to death here, probably Tyler Robinson. And Utah, they really don't screw around too much. You know, if you get convicted and sentenced to death, you're going to die. All right, they're gonna do it. I think they might have the what's their method of execution? I think it's the firing squad. That's what happened to Gary Gilmore. Anybody remember Gary Gilmore? I did a video last night about the situation with Mar-a-Lago, and I couldn't believe some of the crap I saw from the officials, the law enforcement officials afterwards. Now, it's always an adventure. After President Trump gets shot or they try to shoot him, what the hell happens in the press conference right after? I want to go back to 2024, Butler, Pennsylvania. I was right here when it happened. And that night they have a press conference, the big press conference. And what happened at that press conference? Who didn't show up? Cut 5, please. Cut 5.
Why are there any Secret Service agents here right now for this press conference?
The Secret Service wasn't available for the press conference at this time.
The Secret Service wasn't available for the press conference at this time. Why wasn't the Secret Service there? Because they were too busy covering their asses and getting their stories straight. The Secret Service couldn't make it to talk about an admission of guilt. Right? So President Trump gets shot and the Secret Service won't show up. They got 50,000 public affairs officers, deputy public affairs officers, regional public affairs officers, and they couldn't and wouldn't get one of them. How about the deputy director or the acting director or the director? None of them showed up. And then 2 months later, the acting director, a guy named Ron Rao, blames the attempted assassination of President Trump at that golf course in West Palm Beach. Who did he blame? Not the would-be assassin. He blamed President Trump. It was his fault for showing up. Cut 6.
This was an off-the-record movement. It wasn't a site that was on his scheduled. It wasn't part of his schedule. So there was no posting up of it because he wasn't supposed to have gone there in the first place.
He wasn't supposed to have gone there in the first place. It was an off-the-record, an OTR. That right there, I mean, they're supposed to be discreet about their deception. Everybody's getting pretty crummy at their job, including the deep state. This stuff is supposed to be carried out in secrecy. That guy blabbed a little bit too much, saying the quiet part out loud. Oh, we're going to blame this on the president. So what happened weird the other day after they shoot up the guy who got onto Mar-a-Lago? He didn't just show up at the gate. He got through the gate. He got through the gate about 100 feet. How did that happen? With explosives and a weapon. Very unclear. And then the guy who's running the press conference doesn't seem to want to really clear it up all that much. Rick Bradshaw is his name. He's in way over his head, folks. The president of the United States deserves razor-sharp law enforcement professionals who don't screw around. That's not this guy. Cut 7.
My name's Rick Bradshaw. I'm the sheriff of Palm Beach County. I have with me from the FBI, Special Agent in Charge Brett Skiles, Special Agent in Charge Rafael Barrios from the Secret Service.
Well, the Secret Service guy, he just mispronounced his name. And the guy shoots him a look like, excuse me? Hello? The name's Barros, not Barrios. It's just a little thing. And oh, by the way, Barrios, Barros, is chewing gum. I still can't get over that. He's chewing gum. That used to be frowned upon, right? You're this head of the Secret Service. Your agency just killed a guy who broke into Mar-a-Lago, and you're sitting there blowing bubbles? Well, he wasn't blowing bubbles, but could you imagine? He was chewing gum. Cut 8.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter Mar-a-Lago.
Detected how? Did they see him? Did they, right? It's a very, very, very weird, problematic whole thing. It's just strange. And I'm just going to cut to the end, all right? This is the end of it. No, nothing, Sheriff. Cut 14, please. Cut 14.
Was the shotgun loaded? The shotgun was...
I don't know.
How many shots were fired?
Don't know that either yet. It's part of the investigation. Okay, folks. Thanks for being here. That's it. Sheriff,
thank you.
Thank you. Bye. That's it. 4.5 minutes later, that's it. Somebody gets on a Mar-a-Lago, wants to kill the president. That's it. And the fake news just accepts it. I don't, because I'm not fake news. Be right back.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Is it? I think it's a little bit much. I'm looking at Fox News. State of the Union address countdown clock. 8 hours, 6 minutes, 56, 55, 54 seconds. Is that necessary? I just don't know if that's necessary. You got to amp up the people any way you can. Oh, a countdown clock. I only got 8 hours before the big speech tonight. State of the Union. President comes in. Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States. Actually, before that, Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet. When I was a kid, I thought that would be a pretty cool place to be. You know, being a member of Congress, wow, you're in this room, you're in, this is it. This is as big as it gets, kind of. Now I just prefer to watch it on TV or on my smartphone, right? It's generally speaking, these are not the most remarked upon speeches. It becomes a laundry list of initiatives or achievements. Although President Trump broke the mold, and it's going to be interesting and funny, and it will be interrupted probably too many times by both applause and boos. It goes on forever, and that becomes a whole big, parlor game. Who's standing, who's sitting, who's clapping, who's not. What's that all about? Look at the Democrats. They didn't clap for that poor kid with cancer. Remember that last year? What is of note? Well, everything's of note, I guess. Let's see here. The hockey team is going to be there. Independent journalist Nick Shirley is going to be there. Something like 10%, more, about 20% of the Democrat members of Congress will not be there. They're not showing up. I don't give a damn, to be honest. And that list, Schiff and the rest, what's her name? Crockett, is she going? The one that actually really surprises me and kind of bothers me, because his whole shtick, especially around New York, is, oh, I'm Mr. Reasonable. I'm Mr. Bipartisan. His name is Jim Himes. H-I-M as in Mary, E-S, Himes. M as in mother, E-S, Himes. Jim Himes. Why the hell aren't you going? You're on the intelligence community. You're turning your back on the president. What about our norms? You guys have been so upset about the norms, and he's not going. You know how this all started, that they have a guy in the audience and they say, everybody, I'd like to direct your attention to Buzz Aldrin. He's up there. He walked on the moon. Then everybody goes nuts. That was a really beautiful time, actually, when he did it for Buzz Aldrin. They always have somebody in there, and they have some amazing people. I remember Rush Limbaugh was in there, and got that Lifetime Achievement Award shortly before he died, and it was great. Great. And sometimes they have somebody who just made the news the other day. They'll have angel moms and people like that in there. So it all stems back. Ronald Reagan did this in 1982. He does the State of the Union. And that morning or a couple of days before, does anybody remember Air Florida? Air Florida takes off out of Washington, D.C., crashes right into the Potomac like 20 seconds later because there was too much ice on the wings. And the other thing about that is they looked at the cockpit voice recorder. They were all joking and laughing about dating, and these guys were all horned up, for the flight attendants, and it was just kind of gross. And they have a new thing, a policy ever since that flight. They call it a sanitized cockpit. You're only allowed to talk business, like the business of moving and taking off in the airplane, in the cockpit when you're on the ground and above You can't start shooting the breeze about sports and your wives until like you're at 30,000 feet. Something like that. They got a new rule. It's actually not new anymore. It's about 44 years old. So they had that guy, Lenny. Oh, I know. So some of the passengers survived. Most died, but a few survived. They got out of the plane, and they were in the icy, frigid waters of the Potomac, and a woman was on a piece of ice, and a helicopter swooped down to pick her up, and she gets in the strap, but then she falls through the strap, and she's going to drown. And you see a guy, I remember it was on live television, actually, a guy just jumps in. Imagine how cold that is. Jumps in, swims over to her, grabs her, and brings her out of the water. And the guy who did that was a guy named Lenny, who had a regular job working for the federal government in some printing office. Lenny Skutnik, I think his name was. And they call it a Lenny. That night, Ronald Reagan had him, and they acknowledged him, and it was very beautiful. And they've been doing it ever since. It's like a feel-good moment in America, you know, morning in America type routine. Hey, think of it. Nancy Pelosi is not going to be there. We won't have to watch her all night. Kamala Harris won't be there. Who's going to be there? Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance. Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance. What do we think of that? I think it's pretty cool. I also think, got to be honest, those guys, both of them are younger than me. You know, it was one time to look at that thing. Someday, I don't know when it's going to happen, the president of the United States is going to be younger than you. And that's going to be a weird moment. It's going to be a weird moment for me. And the first person who put this on my radar was Walter Cronkite. Election days, 1960s. Like, well, we're all going to have to deal with the fact that the president of the United States is younger than we are. Some people are giving the president a hard time because he seems a little bit reluctant to invite the ladies hockey team. They won the gold too. How about that one? Did you know? I didn't even know he had a ladies hockey team. I don't think I've ever seen ladies hockey. I've seen ladies field hockey, but never ladies ice hockey. Anyway, they gave them a beautiful American military jet that's taken the team all the way. It's funny to me. You know, we fly JetBlue all the time, right? You fly in a regular airplane. It's no big deal. You put a paint job on the side of that plane, and people are like, this is the highlight of my life. This is the best thing that ever happened to me. I've seen it before. I've been on Air Force One. It's really not that big a deal. The best thing about Air Force One is the food and the convenience, because it's like you're right on, you're right off. There's a vehicle. It's just, you don't have to, you know, you still have to go through security, by the way. It's convenient. Once you're on it, it's like any other plane. It's got a paint job, and the president is in the front. So these guys have flown a United States military aircraft that says United States of America. It's like a mini Air Force One from Miami to Washington, D.C., because they're going to be in the crowd tonight, State of the Union. You know what they ought to do? They ought to wear their jerseys. I don't think that would be disrespectful. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.